So in order to understand that, let's take a look at a very simple example. So we want to count the total number of two-digit numbers, which will have at least one number 3 now. So how we are going to count that? Okay, so you can one way of doing it is you start writing all the numbers 12, 13 until 19. So you realize that 13 is there because it is having at least one 3. So in 20 series you will say 23 is there because it will have at least one 3. In 30 series you will have 10 digits which will have at least one 3 because 30 is there. So you will have 10 options here, one option here, one option here. Similarly you can have 43, 53, 63, 73, 83 and 93, right? So when you count all these options, so you have at least one in 1 series, 2 series, 4 series, 5 series, till 9 series, you will reach to 8 options, and all the 30 series will be counted here. So you will have 10 series, 10 ones. So there are total number of 18s. 18 are there which have at least 1 3, right? Now sometimes it is easier to count the opposite of that. So when you say count two-digit numbers, number which has at least 1 3 into that, right? So this statement is quite similar to count all two-digit number, and then subtract the number, all two-digit number which doesn't have 3. So subtract all two-digit number which doesn't have 3. So we have already previously seen that how to count the all the two-digit numbers. So we will again put 2 here. So 2-digit numbers can be counted. The first digit cannot be 0, so it can be counted as 9 ways. The second digit will be counted as 10 ways. So there are total 90 numbers, 2-digit numbers. Now let's look at this one. So all two-digit numbers which doesn't have 3, right? So again we draw 2 options here. So it cannot have 3, meaning by it could be there are only the first digit can be filled only by 8 ways, which is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So there are 8 ways. So you can put here 8 ways, and the second digit can be counted into 9 ways because you can always count 0 there but not 3. So you have 9 ways. So if you multiply these 2, you will get 72, and if you subtract, then you get the same result easily. Because see, if I ask you to count all the 3-digit numbers which have at least 1 3, it would be really difficult for you to count by simply counting, but you can do it here easily by putting the 3 numbers here. So the first digit can be filled by 9 ways, this can be filled by 10 ways, this can be filled by 10 ways. So we have 900 all 3-digit numbers, and all the 3-digit numbers which doesn't contain 3. So the first can be filled by 8 ways, this can be filled by 9 ways, this can be filled by 9 ways. So it will be 81 into 8, which is equivalent to which is equivalent to 648, right? And if you subtract these two, you will arrive at the number of possible values of all 3-digit number which contains at least 1 3 will be 252, right? So sometimes it is easier to count the opposite of what is required in the problem. So if a problem state the few keywords, like for example at least, doesn't have, then you know what to do, because if these keywords are there in the problem, you need to count the total number of ways, and then you need to subtract the ways where you don't need all these things, right? So this is the three parts of the counting principles. Now let's try to look at the various problems so again, when we let's try to revise the thing here. In counting, and normally means, I say the word normally because you see and is more like a Cartesian product, but still of A set A and set B, which is like Cartesian product. So it's like multiplying the number of elements in set A and multiplying the number of set B. So it is more like this. So and normally means multiplication, or normally means addition, and not. So we have found few examples like at least one, doesn't so we have like example like doesn't have, so these are complementary part which is quite common to not, doesn't have, right? So this is equivalent to these two part, at least one, doesn't have. So we will find all the possible values, so we'll find all the sample set, and then we try to subtract the sample set, so complement of it, so then we get the actual number of counting, right? So let's try. So now what we are going to do is to see these principles in action. So normally in a problem these principles will come together, right? So let's again revisit the problem of finding all squares into 8 by 8 grid. So the problem here says find all squares in your, let's say, chessboard, because you know it better, this is a chessboard, right? Now in mathematics the problem solving is something which is very crucial, right? So first you need to have certain tools, then you need to know certain methods, and then you need to have a proper strategy to solve this problem. So let's try to break down this problem into various parts, and we write it in English first, and then we'll try to derive the mathematical expression of it. So if we have to count all the squares in this chessboard, for example, so we have the option of writing this problem into these parts, like find all squares of 1, or find all squares of 2, or similarly or all squares of 8, right? Because we have to count all squares of 1, all squares of 2, all squares of 3, and henceforth, because see, now this means that since the word or is here, so we can write this expression, simplify this expression again as equal to, so we say that all squares of 1 can be defined as a1, all squares of 2 can be defined as a2, all squares of 8 can be defined as a8, similarly all squares of 3 can be defined as a3, a4, a5, a6, a7, a8. So we write this as a1 plus a2 plus a3 plus a4 plus a5 plus a6 plus a7 plus a8. where this is the all squares of 1, all squares of 2, side 2, all squares of side 3, all squares of side 4, all squares of side 5, all squares of side 6, all squares of side 7, and all squares of side 8. While telling you the addition principle, I forgot to mention one thing, that addition principle always applies when these are the disjoint sets. So if all squares of 1 is disjoint to all squares of 2, and all squares of 2 is disjoint of all squares of 3, so we can write this, right? Now let's try to find all squares of 1. So we can simply say that all squares of 1 by counting is 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. So horizontally you can find 8 squares here, and vertically you can find 8 squares here, right? So let's try to find all squares of 1. So there are 8 ways here, and then you have 8 ways here. So this is vertical and this is horizontal, right? So we can clearly say that it will be have 64 squares of 1, right? Now let's take the squares of 2, squares of 2, right? So find how many horizontal squares of 2 can be formed. So if you count it properly, the first one will be like this, the second one can be like this, and the third one will be like this. It will be easier with the lines. The fourth one will be like this, this, sorry. So you can see here that there are 7 ways of 2 squares in a horizontal way, right? And there are 7 ways, of course, because it's a square, so there are 7 ways into, so A2. Let's try to find A2, right? So you can simply see here that this is 1 square, this is 1 square, this will be your third, this will be your fourth, this will be your fifth, this will be your sixth and 7. So there are 7 ways you can find the 2 squares in horizontal way. Then there are 7 ways you can find. So we have found that A1 is 64. So now A2 is 7 ways here, 7 ways there, so there is 49. Similarly A3. Now if you look at A3, so if you try to look horizontally, there are 1 way here, second way here, and if you keep on counting, then you will get around 6 ways of finding the 3 squares in a horizontal way, and similarly the 6 ways in the vertical ways. So we will reach to the conclusion that A3 will be nothing but 36, that is 6 square. Similarly we can assert, it's up to you to find out, there are 5 square ways of finding the squares of 4 and so forth. So A8 will be finally 1. So we reach at the conclusion that the total number of squares will be nothing but 8 square plus 7 square plus 6 square plus 5 square plus 4 square plus 3 square plus 2 square plus 1 square, which is again nothing but 64 plus 49 plus 36 plus 25 plus 16 plus 9 plus 4 plus 1. So this is 5, 14, this is 30, this is 55, then we have 55, 91, then we have 140, and total is 204 squares. So we get the result, which is 204 squares. You will find it really difficult to actually understand all those things at the first go, but I would like you to experiment more and more on this and find the total number of squares the way we have tried. And once you understood all of these things, it will be easier for you to use in accounting, right? Now let's go into some of the easiest problem or the toughest one of counting. So let's okay, so this is the first problem. So what does it says? At a particular company, any valid password consists of 6 lower case letters, right? Further, any valid password must end in a vowel. So it should be A, E, I, O, U, because there are only 5 vowels, and cannot contain the same letter twice. Find the number of valid passwords, right? So here we will be using the multiplication rule, and we'll see how we are going to find the solution to this problem, right? So we have to find a 6 valid password consists of 6 lowercase letters. So we can always we can find the 6 places to fill: 4, 5 and 6. Now if you look at it, that the last word must be vowel, so this can be filled only by the 5 base, right? And we have the condition that it cannot contain the same letter twice, right? So let's say we have vowel here A. So how many ways we can fill this place? It could be anything but A, so there can be 25 ways of filling this, right? So let's say we use B here. So A and B are occupied. So how many ways we can fill this? This can be filled by 24 ways, because A and B same letter cannot be repeated twice. So similarly, this letter can be filled by 23 ways, this by 22 ways, this by 21 ways. So total will be 21 into 22 into 23 into 24 into 25, and finally the 5. So you can multiply and do the things and check how it will look like, right? So these are the only possible ways of finding the any valid password in your company, with word ending with vowels, and the no letter can be repeated twice. So now let's try to solve some other problems which is quite similar, but we'll look into that. So here comes our second problem, right? Suppose that on an average there are 80 moves made in a chess. So chess is a game. Why chess is more interesting? Because you cannot count the number of moves each players play against each other, right? But in this case we are going to count that. So suppose that on an average there are 80 moves made in the chess. So each player can make a move of 40-40 each, right? Which means the same. For each player first move there are 20 possibilities. So let's say, namely 8 pawns can move either in one place or 2 spaces, and each of the 2 knights can jump from left to right or right to left. So there are 20 cases where you can move your first pawn, right? So same it applies with the applies for the second player as well. And for the remaining moves, each player has an average of 35 choices available at each move. Find the number of possible games of chess. So we are given here quite a difficult question to answer, right? So let's say the chess move has 80 moves, 40 by each player, and the first 2 moves can be done by only 20 ways, and the rest of the moves can be done into 35 ways on an average, right? So let's try to find out. So the first move can be done by 20 ways from player A. So we name this player A and player B, right? So the A can move the first move in 20 ways. Similarly, B can move the first way into 20 moves. So the total number of ways these two can have, this option is 400, right? Now we are exhausted with the 2 moves. So we have 80 moves. So there are now 78 moves left, right? 78 moves left, and each move can be done by 35 ways. So it will be 35 to the power 78. So I'll explain it here why it will happen. Because so let's say there are only let's say we have 4 moves. Each move can be done by 35 ways. So this can be done by 35 ways, this can be done by 35 ways, this can be done by 35 ways. So it is 35 to the power 4. So if we have to take 78 moves, then it will be 35 to the power 78, and first 2 moves can be done into 400 ways. So the total number of ways these moves can be done will be a very huge number, which will be 400 into 35 to the power 78, right? So now you see why chess is so complex, because there are so moves against each other, and it's really complex. Yeah. So next now move to problem number 3. Okay. Areas must contain a large number of valid telephone numbers in order to accommodate their customer base. Further, it is common to restrict which telephone number assigned to which customer. How many 7-digit telephone numbers are there, right? So here there is no constraint given, as in the telephone number cannot be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 and all those things. So we can always write this 7 spaces to be filled. First can be done by 10 ways, because there is no limitation given that the number cannot start with 0, right? So all these numbers are 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So which will be equal to, if you multiply all this using our multiplication principle, you will get a very huge number which will be 10 to the power 7, right? The second says that do not start with 0, right? That do not start with 0. So there are now two ways of approaching this problem. So we'll see the contradiction complement principle here, or we will use our natural multiplication thing. So if it cannot start with 0, then it can be start with 9 ways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again this can be filled again with the 10 ways each. So this is equivalent to saying 10 to the power 6 into 9, right? Now we can use also the complement way, right? So for example, the total number of ways we can count all the 7-digit phone numbers is 10 to the power 7. So it says do not start with 0. So let's try to count all the digits, all the numbers which have 0 to start with, right? So this can be only filled by one way, because it needs to be start with 0. Again this can be done into 10 ways, right? So all numbers, or the telephonic numbers which start with 0, right? So this can be filled only by one ways, right, with 0, and rest of this can be filled by 10 ways. So it is again 10 to the power 6. So if you subtract these two, so 10 to the power 7 minus 10 to the power 6, it will be, you can take the common 10 to the power 6, and this will be 10 minus 1, which will be 9 into 10 to the power 6. So these are the possible ways which will start with 0. Now let's see if we have a problem called does not contain 911. Now does not contain 911, right? So let's try to find, we know that the total number of ways we can find these numbers are 10 to the power 7. Now let's try to find all the telephonic number which will contain 911, which will contain 911, right? So it is a 7-digit number, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So if you look at it, you can place 911 here, you can place 911 here, you can always place start 9 here, and then you can place 911. So if you count it, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, rightly, because you cannot put 9 here, then it cannot be here 911, right? So there are 5 ways of getting 911 together, right, in a 7-digit telephonic number. Now rest of the 4-digit numbers, because we have consumed the 3 digits, we are left with, so let's place 911 at the first place. So we place 911, and we are having 7 places which needs to be filled. So this number can be filled by 10 ways, this number can be filled by 10 ways, this number can be filled by this. So if we place a single 911, then we have 10 to the power 4 options, right? But there are 5 ways of getting 911 in 7 places, right? So we have the total number of ways of getting 911 is this. So what will be the total number of ways in which it does not contain 911, right? So that will be again the total number of ways we can get these numbers. So that is 10 to the power 7 minus 5 into 10 to the power 4, right? Now let's try to move to the some other examples. So we are into problem 3, now let's try to move into problem 4. Okay, so figure 2.4 shows 9 fixed point ABC, IG, D, E, F, G, H, I are located on the sides of a triangle. If we select one such point from each side and join the selected points to form a triangle, how many such triangles can be formed? So we have to select from each side. So this side AB we can select the 3 ways, right? So again we can draw this thing that we have to select 3 points which will form a triangle. From AB we can select 3 points ABC, right? From BC we can select 4 points D, E, F, G, right? And from AC we can select 2 points which is I and H, right? So total number of ways of selecting this is equal to is 24. So there can be 24 triangles which can be formed using this all these points. So you can try to draw all these triangles so that you achieve the desired result. Now let's take slightly, I have taken the bigger problems earlier. Now let's try to make it easier for you. Suppose you can go to one of the 5 small restaurants for dinner, right? So you have an option from, let's see, I want to go for a dinner. So this is you are the person you want to go dinner. So there are 5 restaurants, right? This is restaurant 1, restaurant 2, restaurant 3, restaurant 4, restaurant 5, right? The first restaurants offer 8 menus, so we have 8 menus here. The second restaurant offers 6 menus or 6 items, so 6 items here. Third offers 11 items. The fourth restaurant offers 4 items, and the final restaurant offers 20 items. So the R5 will offer you 20. How many meals are possible? So if you look at it, the meals can be possible either going to restaurant 1 or restaurant 2 or restaurant 3 or restaurant 4 or restaurant 5. So it will be quite simple because we have divided this problem into OR statement. So it will be 8 plus 6 plus 11 plus 4 plus 20, which is 24 plus 35, 14, 25, 29. So there are 49 ways, there are 49 meals which are possible, because either you can go to restaurant 1 or restaurant 2 or restaurant 3 or restaurant 4 or restaurant 5. So this is a pure application of OR principle, or basically what we have called as an addition principle, right? Now let's try to look on the few more problems and then we will close this session. So we have arrived at problem 5. Now let's go to problem 6. So there are 6 boys and 5 men waiting for their turn in a barber shop, right? 2 particular boys A and B, and 1 particular man is Z. So there is a 11 seat for the customer. Find the total number of ways of arranging them in each of the cases. Now you see the word called arranging, right? Arranging is, so I have given you some examples, like when you see the word at least, does not, you are going to use the word, you are going to use the complement method, right? CP method. Now let's try to see, when we say arranging them we are going to use empty, that is multiplication method, right? So there we have 11 seats again, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Since there are no restriction, there are 5 boys and 11 men, so we have 11 options for the first seat. Once a boy or a male sits, then we are left with only 10 options. Then we are left with 9 options, henceforth 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So total number of ways we can make them sit or arrange them into this is this one. For clarity of this is a number. If you multiply all the numbers starting from 11 to 1, it is called factorial 11. But you can always multiply this number and get the result, right? Now let's take a second example. A and B are adjacent. Okay, now A and B are adjacent. So how we are going to do that, right? So now again we draw the same thing. So we know that the total number of ways we can make them sit is 11 ways, right? So if A and B are sitting adjacent to each other, so what does that mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if A and B are sitting together, meaning wise we need to fill one place here, right? And then we have to fill all these places. Now A and B can sit together either here or somewhere, right? So therefore we have so how many ways A and B can sit together? So again by counting you can see A can sit here, B can sit here, now A can sit here, B can sit here, A can sit here. So finally we will conclude that there are 10 ways in which A and B can sit there, right? Now A and B can also change their positions, so there are 2 ways they can be sitting here. So let's try to put, so I'll leave up to you to find why there are 10 ways in 11 places where A and B can sit together, right? So it will be quite similar to finding the number of 2 squares when you have the 8 numbers 8 in a chessboard. So you will find that it will be 10 ways. So you can try that, because trying all these things will help you. Now A and B can also switch their positions, right? So again we have 2 options. So A and B, if we look at only A and B sitting together, there are 20 ways, because 10 ways they can sit, and B can switch its position and A can switch this position. Similarly here B can switch this position and A can switch this position, right? So there are 20 ways. Now we are left with the 9 places, right? So we are left with the 9 places, and there are 9 people, right? Because if A and B is sitting there, so we are left with the 9 places. So this place can be filled again. So for example we take that A and B is sitting here only, right? And A and B is not sitting here, so A and B is only sitting here, not there. Okay, so we need to erase this part, right? So A and B is only sitting here. Okay, now let's try to fill all other places. So we have 9 people left, so this place can be filled into 9 ways, this can be filled into 8 ways, this can be filled into 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. So basically this will be 20 into this whole multiplication, which is again factorial 9. So this is the term which is commonly used, the factorial. I am not going to go into the detail of it, but you will come to see that factorial 9 can be represented like this. So we have 20 into factorial 9, right? Now let's look at the third part of it. If Z is at the center, right, and A is to the left and B is at its right, so now what are the possible options we have, right? Please note Z is a unique person, right? So let's again try to draw this. So these are one of the few very difficult questions to answer. So if you are able to do all these things, so we again put the 11 places, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if Z is in the middle, so he needs to be sitting in this place, and this could be done only in the one way, right? Because he is in the middle, right? He cannot move from here and there. Now A can sit this side and B can sit this side, right? Now how many places A can sit? A can sit here, A can sit here, A can sit here, A can sit here, A can sit here. So there are 5 ways A can sit, right? And similarly 5 ways B can sit, 5 ways. Now if all these 3 people, let's say, sit somewhere, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So Z is sitting at the 6th place. Now let's say A sits here and B sits somewhere here, right? So we are left with the 8 places and 8 people. So it can be done 8 ways, then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So again, so 5 ways A can sit, 5 ways B can sit, so there are only 25 ways, and rest of the people can sit into factorial 8 because it's multiplication of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's try to see the most difficult question is boys and men are alternative. Now boys and men are alternative, so there are 6 boys and 5 men, right? So let's try to solve this in slightly different way. So first we will try to see how many ways boys can sit if there are 11 places. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if boys and men needs to sit alternative, the boys needs to sit in the 6 places. So let's say this, and this. So you will find that there is no way, if boys have to sit alternative, there is no other way, right? Because if first boy sit here, right? So but the first boy sit here, he needs to be sitting here, he needs to be sitting here, he needs to be sitting here, and he needs to be sitting here. But since there are 6 boys, we cannot fit that. Now men can sit here, men can sit here, men can sit here, men can sit here, and men can sit here, right? So how many ways these 6 places can be filled with the 6 boys? It's again 6 ways, 5 ways, 4 ways, 3 ways, 2 ways, 1 ways, which is factorial 6 again. Now men's can be seated here in the 5 ways. This will be 4 ways, 3 ways, 2 ways, 1 ways. So that will be factorial 5. So the total number of ways you can find this thing will happening is 6 factorial into 5 factorial. Right, so this is the problem, but we are able to crack it because by simple counting you will not be able to do that, but by the use of the multiplication principle we are able to do that. First we have to strategize the problem, how this can happen, what are the possible ways. Then we broke the problems into different parts, and then we have tried to solve all these problems. So I'll be discussing more about such techniques, how to break the problem, how to strategize the problem in our problem sessions. So these are the few of the examples which I am trying to give you for understanding the multiplication principle and the addition principle and the complementary principle. So let's take the final problem which we will be discussing here. So again, what is the problem? Okay, so there are 10 people in the class. How many ways to form a 5-member committee for the class? How many ways are there to form a 5-member committee? Okay, so let's start with this one. So how many ways there are to form a 5-member committee of a class? Okay, cut.